How's it going? My name is Max Becker, and I'm in SWMRS, and we just came out with a record called Becker because there are 3 of us in the band that are all brothers, and that's our last name. So I'm going to show you what we're doing today. So this is my Strat. This is my case. This is my lovely, beautiful American Standard Stratocaster. They don't actually make these anymore. It's from like 2003, and this is not all stock. So there are a couple things that are interesting. This is the first guitar that I ever bought when we changed our name to SWMRS from Emily's Army, and I also got it at what was then called Broken Guitars, but it's now called Oakland Guitars. And interesting things about this. These are lace sensor pickups that genuinely change the sound of the Strat. To me, my favorite guitar tone ever is like Tom Petty and what's his name? Mike Campbell. All their tones on their stuff, they actually mostly do like Rickenbacker stuff, but to me, this actually sounds like a Strat and Rickenbacker combined with my lace sensor pickups through my amp, which I'm going to show you in a second. The other thing about this guitar is my screw was stripped, and so recently, oh, I gotta screw this back on. Yeah, it's just difficult. I had to go to a hardware store, and I Frankensteined my guitar, and I actually, instead of getting strap locks, I just screwed right in, and a washer is my strap lock. And I did the same thing down here, so it doesn't come off unless it unwinds. So I'm constantly working on it that way, but that is my little Frankenstein thing, and it just sounds so good that I don't ever want to play anything else. It's just the best guitar for me. Yeah, so I use 3 different pickup configurations. So I typically go bridge pickup on songs that are kind of brighter, faster, louder, whatever. And then for a song like BRB, we actually go all the way to the neck pickup for that one, and I get like a little bit more of a chugging tone for that one. And then the introduction and the whole song of Lose, 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 rarely do you see this, but we actually go to the middle. We're getting that Strat combo thing that's possible with this guitar, and it actually sounds perfect throughout the song. So we do that. We go middle on Lose, Lose, Lose. We're going all the way up on volume and tone throughout everything we play. I don't really mess with stuff here. I usually mess with stuff on here or for my pedals. Yeah, Ernie Ball 10s, the green ones. They are what I've always played, and I will always play. I just like a consistent sound. I change them every 2 or 3 shows, and we've been playing them now for 12 years. I love those guys. Yeah, standard tuning. We play standard tuning, and sometimes we go to drop D for songs like Berkeley's on Fire, or actually on our new song California Wintertime, I go to drop D because we have to get that. We have to substitute because we use an 808 in the recording, and we don't typically use tracks live, so we want to feel like we have to try to get the same feeling. And for me, I have to go to drop D to do that, and that's how we do it. Like a year ago, Cole and I just started having a competition with each other, like who could have the smaller rig while still being like still an amp. Because people like plug in, they'll do, they'll model amps, or they do Kempers or whatever, and that's fine. That's awesome. That's just not really what we prefer. So I had the AC-15, and then Cole got an AC-10, and then I was like, dang, I'm so jealous of his AC-10. And then I saw this this new thing, which is also Vox, but it's this MV50 head, this is a tube amp, and it actually is a 50-watt tube amp, and this is a 25-watt 1x8 head, BC108 by Vox, and I'm telling you, it's 8 pounds. We put both of our amps in my Pelican, and this is all we're ever gonna need, ever, because it sounds insane. It sounds like an AC-15 or an AC-30 or something, and it breaks up perfectly like a tube amp, and but it's so portable, so you can play anything from a small club to, because it's all mic'd, right? So you can play this. If we get asked to open for somebody in an arena or something, I'm literally bringing this. There's nothing I will ever not do with this. So the feel of this is the reason I like AC amps specifically, I own an AC-15 there. It's my favorite amp. It was my favorite amp because it breaks up at the right volume. Because the AC-30, you have to crank it a little bit louder to get it to start getting a little crunchy. We like sounds very similar to like maybe the Jam or the Clash or Tom Petty or these kind of like almost power pop punk bands that are a little bit more. There's just a jangle to the AC that you just can't get anywhere else, and I just can't believe they put it into this small of a unit. So it's perfect for me. But yeah, the feel of this, there's not very many knobs. There's a volume knob, a tone knob, and a gain knob. And what I do to get the right mix for me is I crank the gain all the way up on this one. They make a lot of different versions of this, by the way. They make like a super gain, they make a Brian May version. They have a whole series, but this is the AC version. And I actually take the tone kind of further down. It happens to be that's where for my Strat, especially on the bridge pickup, it really, really shines. And I'm telling you, whenever I plug it in for a sound check, I'll play a song like Listen to Her Heart by Tom Petty, and to me it sounds exactly like it. So it's my dream. It's my dream setup. I'm living the dream. Okay, so my pedal setup after years of trial and error is pretty much just like bare bones what I need. First thing, you definitely always need good tuning pedal. Most important thing I got. I also do a carbon copy analog delay just like Cole. I like a little bit more than just slapback. I put the delay probably at, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And same with the mix and everything. I like it just a little bit more wet, that's what they would say. And then I actually have this little mini MXR phaser, and that's just for Hellboy and for Lose Lose Lose. And you can see where I don't mess around with it. I sharpied where I put, and I have to make sure the light is blue, not red. That's my thing. And I put that on for most of Lose 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 and most of Hellboy to get this kind of a little bit more of like a Xenon tone, like Xenon from Disney Channel. And then this, I usually have like some sort of boost or distortion pedal, and this is my most recent one. I got this at Chicago Music Exchange actually a couple years ago, and it's the Made in Japan Wazacraft DS1. And it's just literally such a consistent powerhouse distortion pedal. I used to rock a Tube Screamer, and I love Tube Screamers. It's what Noel Gallagher used allegedly and everything. But I just find that this one works a little bit better for me. So that's and then, the coolest part I think about my rig is, and what people who travel internationally should probably focus on, is we power it with a fuel tank. And the reason a fuel tank is awesome, instead of like, a lot of people use one spot daisy chains, a fuel tank deals with, you can switch, when you get to Europe, you can switch it back here to 220 or 240, whatever they use a different voltage in Europe. So I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm plugged in, but you can literally bring a Europe or UK plug it in, switch the voltage, and that's all you need to do. And our first time in Europe, for example, we just traveled with batteries because we just wanted to avoid it, but then the batteries would die. And this has been like the greatest addition for like international touring bands ever. It's a little bit heavy, but I think it's entirely worth it. So we just came out with this record called Becker, which is our last name, and our band is SWMRS. We're super proud of the record. Give it a listen. It's like, if you love, like heavy rock music, but also like a little bit of indie punk and everything, you're gonna love it. And come to one of our shows, because that's the best way to experience our band. We love giving people an experience.